What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel. You know exactly what time it is. It is time for my 2024 NFL Mock Draft after week 7 of the NFL season. Cannot believe that we are through 7 weeks of the season already. I always say that it is like the fastest, between the regular season and the postseason, it's like the fastest, 22, 23 weeks of the year. Unbelievable. But I'm super excited to get this one out to you guys. We are doing trades yet again, and this one is certainly a little bit more outside of the box that I've been doing the past couple weeks. I know that there are going to be a couple repeat picks. That's just, the nature of the beast at this point of the season, but this one is definitely the most unique one that I've done so far. But before we get into it, if you enjoy videos like this, please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel. We just hit over 6,000 subscribers. That is amazing. Thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate it. We are on the road to 10,000. I still believe that we have a chance to get there before April, before the 2024 NFL draft. If we don't, that's completely fine. Your support is so appreciated, more than you guys really know. And I also want to announce a new series that I'm starting. If you guys are fans of the channel, you guys know that I do prospect profiles for the draft. Last year I did 2023. It was a huge success. 2024 is no different. They are just popping off completely. Incredible videos. Thank you guys so much for your support. But I figured I wasn't getting to a lot of the smaller prospects, and I figured there had to be a way that I would be able to get to those guys. And I came up with NFL Draft Diamonds. It is a YouTube short, TikTok, Instagram reel series that I'll be doing about smaller school prospects, maybe even, like Power 5 prospects that are just not as well known. Quick minute-long video, but much more palatable for a lot of viewers, that maybe their favorite team has a player that's draft eligible, but I don't get to it because it's not a big enough name. So just know that I know about them, and I will be trying my best to get as many of these out. I'm thinking about 2, maybe 3 a week, really trying to get as many of those NFL Draft Diamond shorts out as possible. So let me guys know if you like that idea, and look out for it. This is coming out Wednesday, 12 o'clock. Thursday, 12 o'clock. Will be the first NFL Draft Diamond. So it's a quick turnaround for me. But anyway, enough about me. Without further delay, let's get into it. Pick number 1, the Chicago Bears. This is the Carolina Panthers pick. The Panthers are still the only winless team in the NFL. Now, I said this last week. I'm going to say it again. If the New York Giants or the Denver Broncos are in the top 5, I think that this is the draft that you trade up and you get your potential franchise quarterback of the future. I don't think Daniel Jones is it. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought maybe there was something there after last year. I know that he's such a polarizing guy. Some people are like, oh, well, he's got no offensive line. He's got no weapons. Some people can't stand him. But just look at how much better, and I mean how much better in a very light sense of the meaning, how much better the offense looks run under Tyrod Taylor. This is a wily veteran that has been in the NFL for God knows how long. He's been on a bunch of different teams, and he's running this offense like he is the full-blown starter. Imagine Caleb Williams running this offense. I know when you go, oh, who's he going to throw the ball to? Listen, they'll figure that out. You have to get the quarterback first, or get the offensive line. But in this case, we're going to get the quarterback first. I'm going to trade the number 1 overall pick to the New York Giants. I think that this is a very interesting prospect for both sides, because Chicago, yet again, gets an absolute haul for the number 1 overall pick that wasn't even theirs. There's the Giants. I couldn't find them. So I'll just say it like with every other, draft video that I do. I just get the draft pick there. I don't worry about compensation. We're only doing a 1 round, so it doesn't affect the rest of the draft. But anyway, the New York Giants have the number 1 overall pick, and we are going with Caleb Williams here. Number 2 are the Arizona Cardinals. Another perfect scenario for the Arizona Cardinals. They have the number 2 overall pick. I don't really think, I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is there, but this is a team that's playing very competitive football with probably the worst roster on paper in the NFL. So imagine acquiring more assets. They already have 2 first-round picks in this draft. Imagine acquiring more assets and building that team under the lens of Jonathan Gannon, under what Murr from Impractical Jokers wants that team to be. I think Arizona is going to trade down. They don't really look like they're interested in drafting a quarterback. They have Kyler Murray. They have him tied into all that money. They also have a sick backup in Josh Dobbs, who's played really, really well, in my opinion. I think that this is another trade here. These two teams, I don't think, need quarterbacks. I mean, Justin Fields, I think the jury is still out on him at this point. If it was up to me, if I was the GM, I'd probably look to trade Justin Fields and pick either Caleb Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy in the first round. That's just me, though. We are going to the Denver Broncos here. Like I just said, similar situation. You have a quarterback that doesn't seem that great, and you have a lot of money tied into him. So why not move up and get your quarterback of the future? I know a lot of money is tied into Russell Wilson. I get it. But the salary cap doesn't exist in the NFL. I'm sure that the Denver Broncos will figure a way around it, or they'll get some low-level compensation for Russell Wilson and maybe shed some of that contract. But Drake May is going to be the pick here for me. There's been a lot of controversy over the last couple of weeks as to who is the quarterback one of the class. Even last week, I went so as bold as to say that Drake May would be the first quarterback taken off the board. I still think that it depends on what team is drafting them. I think Caleb Williams fits New York a little bit better than Drake May does. But then on the flip side, I feel like Drake May fits Denver better than most quarterbacks do. So Drake May is the pick here for me. We are not trading the number 3 overall pick. It is Chicago. And we are going with Marvin Harrison Jr. Pretty straightforward. Don't really have to say anything about that. This pick could be either one of a couple things here. Tight end, Trey McBride. Zach Ertz is probably going to get traded. Brock Bowers is here. Olafashanu is here. Those are two positions that could definitely use an upgrade. But still, the defensive line is of such need, and Jared Verse is on the board. I'm a little bit higher on Jared Verse, I believe, than most people are that evaluate players. I think Jared Verse is awesome, and I think that he's easily the best edge rusher in the entire class. That's not really saying much, to be quite honest with you. This edge class isn't really the strongest that we've seen over the past few years. But regardless, on a 4'3", 6 foot, I'm drawing a blank on his size. I believe 6'5", 6'6", 265, 270 pounds around there. He's an absolute freak of nature, powerhouse build. I did a prospect profile on him already. It's funny, I did a prospect profile on him and I forgot his height and weight. Just a bevy of prospects go through my mind today. Jared Verse is going to be the pick here for me at number 4. I know that might be a little controversial, but I think Arizona definitely needs to go defense with their first of 2 first-round picks. The Chicago Bears at number 5. Straightforward. I think they win the first round, to be honest with you. If they could leave the top 5 with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Olafashanu, that would be an absolute win. I mean, Olafashanu has been the best offensive line prospect I've seen in quite some time. He was my tackle number 1 on my board last year, and then he decided to go back to school, and he is obviously tackle number 1 again. The guy hasn't given up a sack in his entire life at this point. Olafashanu is the pick at number 5. Number 6. Let me preface this pick by saying that on my board, Michael Penix Jr. is a higher rated quarterback than J.J. McCarthy. And again, I'm probably going to take some heat for this pick, but I think J.J. McCarthy is exactly what Bill Belichick and the Patriots are looking for a long-term quarterback. The kid really does have everything, and it seems like he's really, really putting it together, especially in the past week. Has the guy played in the fourth quarter yet in any game that Michigan has played? I know they have relatively cookie-cutter competition, but he's ticking a lot of boxes that you can't teach, especially when he's getting flushed out of the pocket. He's running around the backfield. He always has his eyes up looking downfield. That's something that really, really can't be taught. His ball placement is something that can't be taught. His arm strength is something that can't be taught. His leadership is something that can't be taught. I think that these are a lot of born qualities that the Patriots and really any team would be looking for in a future franchise signal caller. Not to say that Michael Penix Jr. doesn't have any of that. I think he has phenomenal arm strength, some of the best ball placement I've ever seen, and he's just got that big play factor about him. But the fact that he's a little bit on the older side and he comes with that big-time injury history, J.J. McCarthy is someone that is still moldable, malleable at his young age and his relative greenness for the position. I think that this is a match made in heaven if Bill Belichick wants to extend his career past this year. It's going to be J.J. McCarthy at number 6. Number 7, pretty straightforward, offensive tackle. Huge need here. Joe Alt would be an amazing get for this Green Bay Packers offense. Some people, Green Bay Packers fans have really had it good with Aaron Rodgers for the past 2 decades or whatever it was, because everyone's saying, oh, they need to find a franchise quarterback. Oh, they need to fire Matt LaFleur. Jesus, give it a little bit of a break, people. Let's get the team right, and then we'll evaluate Jordan Love. Joe Alt is the pick at number 7. Number 8. Really, really enticing picks here for the Los Angeles Chargers. They are in desperate need of a weapon. There's some excellent weapons on the board. There's really good secondary positions here. Kool-Aid McKinstry, you still have Kalen King. Even Jerzon Newton could be a nice pickup here. Here's the thing. With 3 quarterbacks going in the first 7 picks, there's a team that cannot afford to miss out on one of the quarterbacks. And if Michael Penix Jr. is still on the board, I don't think this team hesitates to move up. And that is going to be the team that always drafts Michael Penix Jr. in my mock drafts. That is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think that they could afford to let Michael Penix Jr. slide through their fingers here. Oh my God, what did I do? Oh no, I goofed it. Everyone. That is a terrible trade for the Chargers. Anyway, yes, they are going to move up to number 8 here, and they are going to select Michael Penix Jr. My quarterback 3 on the board. A lot of people I've talked to have him as 2. Some people say that he's the best quarterback in the entire class. I think if he was maybe like 2 years younger and maybe he had like 1 less injury, you can make an argument for it. I think he's a dog. I think he's a phenomenal player, and I think he's going to be an amazing pro. And if he could step into Minnesota's offense with, TJ Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, you name it. It's a phenomenal offense with a top 10 offensive line. And you might think that's crazy, but look at the numbers. That is a top 10 offensive line, maybe besides for Ed Ingram. Moving on to number 9, you have the Tennessee Titans. Again, straightforward. This team loves to run the ball, power, through the offensive line. Amarius Mims is going to be the pick here for me. It was either going to be Amarius Mims or J.C. Latham. I just think Mims is a little bit more athletic than Latham, and that was really the difference in the pick for me. Mims is someone that probably Nicholas Petit-Frere, when he's back and healthy, he was drafted as a left tackle. I don't think there's any reason to move him over to right tackle. Maybe you try him out at left tackle and then you draft Amarius Mims. He could play right tackle for you. Either way, but I think that Nicholas Petit-Frere playing against that Big Ten type of defenses and those defensive ends and all that kind of stuff, I think he might have the slight upper hand, and especially if he's played in the NFL already as well. He's been pretty serviceable up until this point. I think you give him a shot, and if not, you just swap them out. But Amarius Mims is a nice, versatile offensive tackle for the Tennessee Titans to take. Number 10, you have the New Orleans Saints. This is going to be another trade down position for me. There's a lot of players on the board here that have almost escaped the top 10 that maybe shouldn't in a lot of situations, but we feel like that every single draft. There's always players that just somehow squeak out of the top 10. We shouldn't be surprised by it at this point. Some people are, how could you go past 10 and Brock Bowers isn't picked? Listen, I know that Brock Bowers is probably a better prospect than Kyle Pitts, or is a better prospect than Kyle Pitts, but taking Pitts at 4 and seeing what he's done so far in Atlanta might scare some teams off. You never know how these crazy NFL GMs work. The New Orleans Saints are at number 10. Keon Coleman's on the board, Dallas Turner, Malik Neighbors, Mecca Egbuka as well. There's just some great players here. So that's why I'm going to trade down. New Orleans needs to recoup some picks. I think that they're kind of tied up here, in my opinion. And this team is going to move up to take potentially wide receiver number 1 for them. It's just going to be, third round pick should do it here. And this is going to be the Indianapolis Colts, and they're going to take Keon Coleman. Some might argue that Keon Coleman and Michael Pittman Jr. might be like the same role type of player. I tend to disagree. I think Keon Coleman could easily stretch the field way better than Michael Pittman Jr. can. And then imagine having those 3 out on the field: Josh Downs, Keon Coleman, Michael Pittman Jr., and then you have Alec Pierce as well. That is a very, very awesome, wide receiver group, if you ask me. The Raiders at number 11, there's some defensive line help that really needs to be had here for the Las Vegas Raiders. I know quarterback is big. You could argue that the Raiders might trade up to nab a quarterback, but if they stay where they are, I think defensive line should be first and foremost. It's going to be Jerzon Newton for me. He is my favorite defensive player in the entire draft. I think he's the best defensive player in the entire draft. Amazing run blocker, a good pass rusher as well. He's just going to be a force to reckon with in the middle of any defensive line that he plays in. LA Chargers, number 12, Brock Bowers. Pretty simple there. Now the New Orleans Saints, it's much more palatable to draft a safety at 13 than it is 10. And Cooper DeJean, someone that fits into the defensive scheme very, very well for the New Orleans Saints. Could be a punt returner as well, slot corner, safety. He could just play all over the place for them. And with an aging safety group, aging defense in general, Cooper DeJean will bring some much needed youth, athleticism, and dynamic playmaking ability. Washington at number 14. Again, they have given up. Sam Howell has taken 40 sacks in 7 games. The record for a season is 76. They are well on their way to giving up 76 sacks, more, 80. They're probably on pace for like 85. You need some help. I know that a lot of those sacks are on Sam Howell, but still, the pressure is getting there at a rapid pace. I think I saw something, a PFF stat, that he has like 2.13 seconds to throw the ball. That's pretty insane if you ask me. J.C. Latham is the pick here at number 14. 15, you have the L.A. Rams. If Kool-Aid McKinstry is here, this was tough for me. They really need Dallas. It was between Dallas Turner and Kool-Aid McKinstry here at number 15. And I'm going to take the secondary help. The secondary's been really good for the Rams so far with the players that they have. I'm not going to lie, but cornerback, very volatile position. The secondary in general is very volatile. I think you go out and you get that super talented player. He's the cornerback 1 on many people's draft boards. Mine as well. And I think McKinstry would be a really nice fit in LA as maybe that CB1 right away. The Arizona Cardinals at pick number 16. Straightforward. You have your pick of your wide receivers. You can make a case for either of these 3. Odunze brings something different. Ibuka brings something different. Neighbors brings something different as well. I'm going to go with Ibuka, though. I think he fits into the offensive profile better than Odunze and Neighbors does. If they re-sign Hollywood Brown and you have Michael Wilson, Hollywood Brown, and Ibuka on the field together, that is terrifying. With Kyler Murray throwing the football, that's a terrifying threesome to have to defend. I love that prospect. It all really hinges on what Hollywood Brown does, but that would be an amazing prospect that I couldn't pass up. New York Jets at pick number 17, my New York Jets. And we're going to do something crazy here. With one of the quote-unquote elite wide receivers left on the board at number 17, who probably shouldn't even be there, we're going to trade down. I know that the Jets, probably the 3 positions being a Jet fan, I would target most, maybe outside of quarterback. Tackle, obviously. Safety, we'll get to that. And wide receiver. And Neighbors sitting here. Imagine Malik Neighbors and Garrett Wilson. It's such a nice prospect. Even Romo Dunze as well. We're not going to do that, though. We are going to trade an interdivision trade here. I know, but we've seen it happen before. Once I saw that the Jets were able to trade with the New England Patriots last year in the draft, all bets were off. Anything was on the table at that point. So we're moving back 4 spots here. We're going to grab a 3rd round pick in return. The Buffalo Bills are going to grab Malik Neighbors here. Wide receiver really is a sneaky need for this team. I think it was pretty evident in the New England Patriots game that Josh Allen, if Stephon Diggs is taken away from him, or taken away for the most part, it's really, really tough for Josh Allen to get the football to other guys on his offense. You saw Dalton Kincaid was the most used he's been in his short career so far, and that's because he was very, very short routes, and that's all he could really muster up, Josh Allen. So Malik Neighbors is the pick here for me at number 17. Cincinnati, we have a little bit of a run on wide receivers here. It is going to be Romo Dunze. I think T. Higgins is as good as gone. Tyler Boyd is, older, maybe a 1-year deal, but he is a free agent. He's probably going to need a replacement ASAP. Odunze, 6'3", 215 pounds, dynamic playmaking ability, a nice little contrast to Jamar Chase as well. And I'm not going to say it's a like for like with Odunze and T. Higgins, but Odunze would slide in and there wouldn't be much drop off from year 1 from Odunze. Tampa Bay at number 19 is very interesting. Quarterback, I'm not even looking at. I think Baker Mayfield has done a fantastic job so far. Sue me if you think that that's not right. But offensive line is an issue. Running back is an issue as well. But, they have Rachaad White. They have Keyshawn Vaughn. I don't really know if you're looking to take a running back in the 1st round, to be quite honest with you. I don't think that there is a running back worth taking in the 1st round, maybe even the high 2nd round, to be honest with you, so far throughout this draft process. I'm looking at offensive line here, and there's a player that has been high-ish on my board for a little while now. He just never made his debut in the first round mock drafts. But here we go. We're going to go with Talise Fuaga here from Oregon State. This man is a absolute brick wall. If you saw what he did to Laiatu Latu in their matchup against UCLA, that's really what kind of put him on the board for most people that don't pay attention to all these draft prospects. Everyone was like, who's this Fuaga guy, and why did he stonewall one of the best pass rushers in the FBS this past weekend? He's been doing it so consistently for so long now. He's got a tremendous blend of power and speed and athleticism. He's going to be really, really good for whoever drafts him. I think Fuaga has cemented himself as a first-round staple so far this season. Atlanta at pick number 20. Just mentioned him. That's funny. I didn't even realize that until just now. Laiatu Latu is going to be the pick here for me. Quarterback is kind of out of the question at number 20. You could go with Bo Nix, sure, but I mean, is Bo Nix a massive upgrade over what Desmond Ridder is giving you right now? Somehow the Atlanta Falcons are playing really, really good football with a really poor quarterback play. So maybe that's something that they address through a trade. I don't know what it may be, but I can't see them indulging in a quarterback at pick number 20. So the Falcons are going to go the next best thing. They need some pass rushing help. Laiatu Latu, 6'5", 265 pounds, more of the heavier pass rusher that the Atlanta Falcons really look for in their 3-4. Dallas Turner was someone that I was really, really looking at. Chop Robinson as well. Robinson's just a little bit too small for me here at 6'3", 250. Dallas Turner, kind of same thing, 6'4", 242, I believe. So I'm going to go with the bigger, stronger Latu, who has been sensational, besides for getting stonewalled by Fuaga. He's been sensational this year, and he was sensational last year. Now, we get to my New York Jets again, and I am still uncomfortable taking any of these players at number 21 that are on the board for the New York Jets. I think some team is going to come calling for Mr. Dallas Turner here at number 21, because this is insane that Dallas Turner is still on the board at 21. Kind of saying what I was saying before the video started. Some players just kind of fall, and there's really no explanation for it. Here we go. The New York Jets are going to trade back again with their old friends, the Seattle Seahawks, who they've done a lot of business with throughout the years. We're going to go. I know it's kind of unheard of, 2 trade downs in the first round, but just hear me out on this one. Where are the Seattle Seahawks? Here they are. Another 4 spots we move down. We get a 3rd round pick again. Sure, why not? Dallas Turner is going to be the pick here for me. I know that defensive line is more of the need, but Uchenna Nwosu has gone down with a season-ending injury. I believe Darrell Taylor is a free agent. Boye Mafe, okay. Derek Hall as well. I think you need someone to come in off the edge as a bona fide superstar. And imagine Uchenna Nwosu coming back healthy, and then you have Dallas Turner on the other side. And then you have Derek Hall as a rotational piece, and Boye Mafe as a rotational piece. You're creating a monster of a pass rush, in my opinion. There are just some players that supersede the need, and that's what Dallas Turner is doing here for me with Seattle. At number 22, you have the Dallas Cowboys. Pretty simple. They need secondary help. Kalen King is on the board. That's going to be the pick. Same thing with Nate Wiggins here at number 23 with Pittsburgh. This is a pick that I made the last couple weeks. I'm going to stick to it. The picks that I usually make the week prior, I don't really get too into. If you guys are returning viewers, you've kind of heard the explanation for the pick already. And if you are a new viewer and you haven't, I sincerely apologize. Nate Wiggins is the pick here for me. Another repeat pick here, Leonard Taylor. Just seems like such a really nice fit, especially with D'Amico Ryans being the head coach. You have Will Anderson Jr. on the other side. You're building a young superstar defensive line right in front of him. Leonard Taylor is the pick. All right. New York Jets at number 25. We are not going to trade down, I promise. All right, we're going to trade down. I'm just kidding. So the New York Jets at pick number 25 here. Let's preface this by saying I'm not taking any of these offensive tackles. And to be quite honest with you, before you take my head off, it's not because none of them aren't good. I love basically everyone that's here, maybe except for Jordan Morgan. Graham Barton, super solid, could play guard as well. Suamatia is someone who is an absolute freak of an athlete. Patrick Paul might be the best pass blocker in the entire draft class. And Cooper Beebe is a versatile beast as well. So let's say that. I thought I had the way that the Jets draft down pat this year. And then they come out and they draft Will McDonald. And I said, okay, kind of a curveball. And then I heard that the number 1 player on their board was Jahmyr Gibbs. So really threw me off for a loop there. I don't think that the Jets are going to take, at least in this situation, I don't think the Jets are going to take a offensive lineman in the first round. First off, this class is super deep, and we know that the Jets love athletic freaks of nature, which is hence why they drafted Will McDonald, because he had like a 9.8 out of 10 RAS score, and he's only recovered one fumble, and I don't think he's made a tackle so far this year. Anyway, the safety position's pretty much a disaster. Jordan Whitehead, besides for saving the Jets in week 1 with 3 interceptions, he can't tackle, and he hasn't been great since then. Adrian Amos, I could count on 2 hands the amount of times he's hit the field. You know, Ashton Davis is terrible as well. Adrian Amos already, sorry. Tony Adams has actually played pretty well so far this year, but no disrespect to Tony Adams. Why is Tony Adams playing so much football? It's a massive hole for the Jets, and it's not good. It really isn't. Cameron Kinchens is a player that I would love to see on the New York Jets. A ball-hawking safety that can come down and run support as well. That's exactly what the Jets need. And if they don't take a tackle, then we are going for a safety, and that's what I'm going for here. Kinchens is the pick here for me. If you don't like it, that's tough. I'm sorry. San Francisco 49ers at pick number 26. I mentioned him before. Kingsley Suamatia is the pick. Freak of nature. I think he's like 6'8", like 330 pounds. Just an absolute freak. Moves like a cat as well for his size. Love the fit there. Jacksonville at pick number 27. This is going to be another pick in my first rounders this year. Not this year, earlier this year. I made this pick way early in my way too early 2024 mock draft, but I haven't made one during the regular season. TJ Tuimoloau is going to be the pick for me here. Dude's a beast, 6'4", 270 pounds. He was kind of floating around like the top 40 for me, but I think his recent performances have really pushed him up for me. And if a team needs a true edge rusher, I think that this is the guy. Like I said, Chop Robinson, I want to pull the trigger on him in the first round so bad. He came down with a pretty nasty injury against Ohio State. But this doesn't fit for me here. Even though they do play a 3-4, I don't love the fit here. This is Tuimoloau is someone that could put his hand in the dirt and he could rush the passer from the line. I don't know if Chop Robinson could do that in the Jaguars' defensive scheme. Baltimore at pick number 28. It's going to be Denzel Burke for me again. Same pick as last week. Same pick as like the last 5 weeks. Detroit at pick number 29. When was the last time you saw Detroit that far back? Can't remember. Detroit at pick number 29. This is a perfect scenario here to bolster the defensive line. The interior of the defensive line has been a tad disappointing for me. Right now, you look at the depth chart, you see Aleem McNeil and Benito Jones as your 2 starting defensive tackles. I think Chris Jenkins is someone that's firmly solidified himself as a back end of the first round type of guy. An absolute beast, 6'3", 305 pounds. Michigan has just been mass producing defensive linemen the past few years, and I think Chris Jenkins is the next great one out of the lot. Miami at pick number 30. This is going to be Patrick Paul for me here. Patrick Paul, over 800 snaps, pass blocking snaps, the last 1+ years, almost 2 years. He's allowed 1 sack, a 92 grade pass blocking. He's no slouch against the run either. He's not great, but he's no slouch. And what the Miami Dolphins do well is pass. And that's exactly what they need to protect Tua Tagovailoa. I think Patrick Paul would be a really plug-and-play starter for the Miami Dolphins, whether it be on the right, whether it be on the left, whatever it may be. He's probably going to start on the right, but I think he'd be sensational. Number 31, KC. Here's the thing with the wide receivers that are left here, besides for maybe Johnny Wilson. I'm not in love with the size. Xavier Worthy, he's like 160 pounds. A.D. Mitchell, not tremendous size either. Troy Franklin, 6'3", 185, something like that, excluding Johnny Wilson. Xavier Leggett is someone that I really like, and another fresh new face in my first round mock. 6'3", 227 pounds, catches everything that you throw at him. And I believe that Patrick Mahomes will be throwing everything at him. So I think this fit would be really nice. Maybe more of a early round day 2 type of pick, Xavier Leggett. But, KC is a team that consistently drafts in the surplus. So I think that they could afford to maybe take a slight reach on Xavier Leggett here at the back end of the first round. And then same pick as last week for the Philadelphia Eagles. It was going to be a safety. It was probably going to be Tyler Nubin for me here, but it still might even be maybe next week. But this week, it's still going to be Jermaine Trotter after they traded for Kevin Byard. I think they need to really hanker down on the linebacking position and get better there. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. 6 trades in my first round mock. Don't look at this. I know the Jets traded first. I'm going to get some shit for that probably. But anyway, there is my 2024 first round mock after week 7 of the NFL season. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please leave a like. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one. Thank you.